The word indoctrination. If I ask you, have you been indoctrinated in your life? What would you say? Now, if you're like most people, you'd probably say no, because a lot of people look at the word indoctrination as a bad word, and most of us think that we haven't been indoctrinated when we were young. But let me ask you a question here. I grew up in a small Texas town, and what we did every morning before school started is we would start and we would say the Pledge of Allegiance. Now, I'm not sure where you grew up, but if you're like most of us here in the United States, you probably started your day saying the Pledge of Allegiance, right? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, etc., etc., etc. Well, if you did that as well, and most of us did, how old were you when you did that? If you're like most of us, we started in kindergarten. And we were all out there in the morning, had our hands over our hearts, pledging allegiance to the flag. But let me ask you, when you were 5 years old, did you even know what the word allegiance meant? Now, I didn't, and I'm sure that you didn't as well. And the point here is that you were being, whether you recognized it or not, you were being indoctrinated with nationalism. The point that I want you to get in this video is that you've been indoctrinated your entire life. You've been indoctrinated by school, by church, by family, by friends, by socialization, by preschool, by kindergarten. You've been indoctrinated your entire life with belief systems that actually you accepted that were just given to you. To give you an example of how easily that we accept things, your name. If you're like most of us, for example, you've been given a name and you actually never have even questioned your name. Think about that for a moment. Whatever your name is, your name was given to you, you accepted it, you've been called, literally called by that name your entire lifetime, and you've never questioned it. So the point of this video is, what have you been indoctrinated with? What kind of family did you grow up in when it comes to money in particular? We can talk about a lot of different things in this video, but what I want to talk about is what you want to create in life, and in particular, your money situation, your business situation, your finances. What were you indoctrinated with when you grew up? Now, as I said, I grew up in a small Texas town, a very actually low-income farming community here in Texas. And what I heard a great deal of my life is we can't afford, we're not like other people, money doesn't grow on trees. And as I'm saying this and you're hearing this and watching this, can you relate to this? Did you also grow up with, money's hard to come by. Money doesn't grow on trees. And in particular, let me share something with you here. Did you grow up with the mindset that you have to work hard and you have to struggle for what you want in life? Now, many of you watching probably can relate to that, and you're like, yep, that's exactly what I grew up with. Well, so did I. And what I want to share with you here, and there are social media personalities out there and people that have big followings, and they will say things to you like, you have to work until your eyeballs bleed. Well, I'm going to tell you that's a bunch of nonsense. And the reason that I'm telling you that is because many of you watching this video right now, you're actually working until your eyeballs bleed. You're working 60, 70, 80-hour weeks, and you're doing that because you're not making the kind of money that you want to make, and you're not wealthy. So what I want to share with you right now is that strategy, these people sharing this strategy of working till your eyeballs bleed, and you've got to struggle, and you've got to work hard, and you've got to hustle. These people are keeping you lost, and they are keeping you what I call a wandering seeker, meaning you're always looking for new ways, and they taught you that, if you go out and you hustle, then you can be successful in life. But you know what? If that were true, everyone who hustled and everyone who worked hard, they would all be successful. But as you know, because it probably applies to you as well, you've done the very same things, yet you're not getting the success that you want in life. Now, what I want to point out is it's not your fault. These are things that you learned as a child, and when you learned it, you never thought, oh, I learned that. And for the most part, it makes sense when people say you've got to struggle and you've got to work really hard to make money. But if you take a step back and you look at your own life and you look at the world around you, that's just not true. So money doesn't come from hard work, and it doesn't come from struggling, and it doesn't come from hustling, because like I said earlier, if it did, everyone who did that would have money. This is where the conscious transformation takes place, and this is where you become a conscious thinker, recognizing that money does not come from the things that I just mentioned. Money comes from, and this is actually hard for a lot of people to get their mind around, But once you make this leap, everything shifts for you. Money actually comes from consciousness. Money comes through people, but it's energy and it comes from the universe. And when you make that shift, everything changes for you very, very quickly. Now, as I say on every video, obviously I only have so much time here, and I'd love to take you and take this apart for you and dig a lot deeper, but I can't do it in this video. So as you probably have seen on other videos, I've created the podcast for this. So click the link here in the video somewhere, and I'll catch you over on the podcast.